Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Rituja Sahasravidhe, and today I will be presenting on Petroglyph site located at Kudopi village in Sindhudurg district of Maharashtra. So a petroglyph is an image created by removing a part of rock surface either by carving or picking to form a rock art. Petroglyphs are found worldwide and are often associated with the prehistoric people. Petroglyphs located at Kudopi are carved on a laterite surface. Nearly 50 such petroglyphs has recently been discovered, which includes human figurines, fish, circles, few geometrical images, and a 15-foot image which resembles to Mother Goddess. The aim of this research is to study these rock art sites in terms of its current conservation status and how such sites can be preserved which are currently under threat. It also attempts to find new modern rock art recording techniques which are used in other countries and how these techniques will be helpful for rock art sites in India. So the petroglyphs which are found at Kudopi comes under Sindhudurg district. Sindhudurg is situated at the southern part of Konkan region. Earlier, Sindhudurg was part of Ratnagiri district, but due to administrative and industrial convenience, on May 1, 1981, Ratnagiri district was divided into Sindhudurg and Ratnagiri. This district is named after the Fort Sindhudurg, which lies at the rocky island just off the coast of Malvan. The geographical area of this district is 5,207 square kilometers and has a population of 8.5 lakh according to 2011 census, out of which 87% of the population live in rural areas. This district is surrounded by Arabian Sea to the east, Belgaum district and Goa to the south, and Ratnagiri district to the north. It has lateritic, coastal alluvial, and salty land. Most of the region is covered with laterite soil. The most important physical features of this district is that it has uneven topography and major portion of Sindhudurg is hilly. Now, Sindhudurg being a coastal region has moist and humid climate throughout the year. There is not much fluctuation observed in the temperature. The maximum temperature is 33.8 degrees Celsius and minimum temperature is 16.3 degrees Celsius. It receives rainfall for 4 full months, that is June, July, August, and September. Though the average rainfall is rather high, almost all the rainwater runs off due to undulated topography and lack of any water impounding and storage structures. The petroglyphs which are found at Kudopi village is a small village in Malvan Tehsil, which lies between the west coast of Sahyadri mountains. The nearest city from this village is Kankauli, which is an important station on the Konkan railway. The petroglyphs at Kudopi village were first discovered and documented by a 52-year-old rock art enthusiast and a trekker, Satish Lalit, in 2002. He compared the petroglyphs found at Ratnagiri and Goa, and then he correlated with the shamanist practices dating back to Neolithic period. So regarding the time period, the exact time period of these petroglyphs are not yet discovered. However, it is estimated to be of Neolithic age. Sachin Joshi, who is a researcher at Deccan College, too estimated that these carvings belong to Neolithic age. Initially, these carvings were estimated to spread across a 150-kilometer length in a north-south line along the Konkan coast. But Satish Lalit, who first discovered these petroglyphs, estimated that it extends to Goa, covering around 250 kilometers. Currently, land records are being called for the petroglyphs at Ratnagiri and Sindhudurg. 12 instances have been found so far at Sindhudurg. However, experts are still determining the exact time period of their origin. So regarding its history, these petroglyphs fill a huge gap in the history of Konkan region, which means that there are ample evidences available in the medieval age of how the Konkan coast was lined with the important port towns. It has also been reconstructed from the epigraphs and records that it has a history of trade and contact with Europe and even with the Roman Empire. However, there was a big void regarding what went on here in prehistoric times. A team of researchers from Deccan College discovered stone tools in the nearby area that were estimated to be 25,000 years old. Tejas Garge from the Directorate of Archaeology and Museums, Maharashtra, stated that no one knew exactly what happened here during this period. So by observing the depictions of animals in aquatic life, suggested that these were nomadic tribes. However, scholars and researchers are still looking for more evidences of stone tools and settlements around this site to find more accurate date. Now, various figures and drawings are discovered at this site. 2 human figurines are found. The first one is 3 by 4 feet in size, and the second one is 5 by 3 feet in size. 5 types of circles are found, which differ in their diameter. There is a pair of fish found here, in which fish are shown with fins and are seen swimming one behind the other, and the length of fish is 10 inches. Now, this particular figure is considered as the most significant one among all the petroglyphs which are found here. Though the figure is not so proportionate, it shows the mother goddess holding her baby in both hands. There is a letter V carved here on her body, which indicates her femininity. It is believed that primitive communities in this region were predominantly female dominated, and they were accorded a high status. And so they were revered and worshipped by human tribes in that era. Two geometrical images are also found. However, these images are difficult to decipher. Now, this particular image is considered of religious importance. It was used for practicing shamanism. Now, shamanism is a spiritual practice and it is not a religion. It was believed that as part of the ritual for practicing shamanism, these prehistoric people made such abstract images. It was observed by Satish Lalit, who first discovered these petroglyphs, that shamanism is still practiced in some part of Sindhudurg district. To record these rock art sites, specific techniques are used. The first important step is to locate the site. So the location of site is noted with the help of GPS, which includes grid coordinates and details of the equipment. Then comes the aspect of the site and panels. Each panel is recorded using a compass. So the researchers and archaeologists not only focus on the motifs, but they identify the other cultural materials at the site, like for example, stone tools and bone fragments. They also try to describe the surrounding environment, like its important geological factors, and if any anthropogenic damages that have caused to the site. So for rock art, there are various ways to record the motif, but generally an amalgamation of technique is preferred. However, starting point of any technique to record the rock art is to identify the production techniques and material like stencil, prints, engraving, and painting. So for conservation of these petroglyphs, recently the Directorate of Archaeology and Museums has started a process to protect the important petroglyph site as monuments of state importance and declare it as protected monuments. It has also undertaken to document all the known petroglyphs in Ratnagiri and Sindhudurg district. The carvings of these petroglyphs are mostly seen on the slope of the plateau. So due to this, the water flow and human vandalism have posed a great threat to these sites. To avoid vandalism and to protect these sites, the Directorate of Archaeology has proposed to construct a perimeter wall around these carvings. It has also been suggested to build a watchtower so that full view of the petroglyphs for tourists can be achieved. So regarding its preservation, various news articles were published which stated that such sites should be conserved by the archaeological department. Now it is said that petroglyphs which are found at Sindhudurg and Ratnagiri would be soon recognized as World Heritage Sites. The state government is working to nominate these sites as World Heritage Sites to the UNESCO. So for that, the state officials have already applied to the ASR for the nomination. However, some experts say that this is a long-drawn process which will involve detail of sustainable conservation, legal protection, environmental factor, and site visits by experts. So there are various new or modern rock art recording techniques which are currently used outside India. Some of these new techniques are mentioned here. So the first one is direct recording method, which is also called as contact tracing method. This is the most widespread rock art recording technique, which involves placing a transparent paper on the decorated surface. On this decorated surface, motifs are identified and traced using a permanent ink pen. Another form in this method is rubbing of engravings, which involves laying a thin paper on the top of engraved surface and then rubbing carbon paper on the top to obtain the reproduction of the engravings. However, this particular technique has few drawbacks as it directly impacts on the motifs. So while using this technique, this drawback should be taken into consideration. Now, the next one is indirect recording method, which includes digital tracing of the photograph. So it is produced using a digital image enhancement and processing software. Now, this particular technique is currently used in Spain for Cache site, which is a rock art site. Here you can see that digital enhancement technique is used for Cache site, which facilitates the visualization of the details. Now, this particular technique is quite new and is currently used again in Spain for Cache and Ramla site. So virtual 3D models are created using advanced equipment and software like Adobe and Photoshop, which enables rock art visualization. It helps to show multiple perspectives from where the viewers can actually visualize the art. Here again, you can see that virtual 3D model is created for Cache site with the location of human figure. So as you can see that these new techniques are utilized for limited number of sites. The reason is that these techniques require high-skill operators and is quite expensive. But by using affordable digital cameras and accessible photogrammetric software like ARC3D for creation of 3D models for rock art sites in India, it will be a quicker alternative to obtain the details of the motifs for projects with limited budgets. These techniques, if used in India, it will be helpful to preserve these rock art sites which are currently under human threat, and also due to natural factors. It will provide multiple aspects to study the rock art sites. Earlier, due to lack of budget, these techniques were not in use. But with the technological advances we see today, these technologies has become more affordable. And now these petroglyphs can be preserved digitally.